Hello people, how you doing? That's the Monkey Gamer Online in a new video, and today it's not going to be another game video or something. It's going to be a Photoshop tutorial. So after 1 year I quit YouTube. I started to learn Photoshop, and 1 year after, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty good at that. So I decided to take one more step ahead and start to learn Photoshop, and here I am trying to learn people. So today we're going to learn Photoshop. The Photoshop is this program that you can do whatever you want with any stuff. You can create anything with that, any picture you like. You can create web browsers, whatever you want. The first Photoshop was made 25 years ago, and today we're in 2015, and you can download it free trial or buy it in the internet. So if you would like to see any works I made in the past, I will add a link in the description. It's an old stuff I made. I'm not uploading new stuff right now because I don't want to, for personal reasons. I can't. And yes, by the way, I made this picture as well. And by the way, I can't upload it because I'm working on the secret stuff. Dun, dun, dun. So, yes, let's enter to Photoshop. So that's the main picture you will see every time you will enter to Photoshop. So you're going to right now to create a new file, or just to Control N and start a new one. In the name, of course, you can put your name, the name of the project, test number 1. You can put some defaults, other defaults, if you want to create a web, film, whatever you want, but I always use the custom option because I always change the width and the height and the resolutions. And I always work with pixels almost 90%, 99% of my projects. But all the other options are not always pixels, and most of the time they give you default sizes you only can use, but with the custom you can do whatever you want. So yes, you can I will start. I always start with almost of the times I start with 100 and no 1920 with a width, and the height is going to be 1080. I always put a high resolution. For those of you who don't have a good computer, if you understand a little bit in computers, if you have i3 and 2 GB RAMs, it's going to work perfectly fine, but a little bit not a lot flaggy. Right now in my computer I use Lenovo IdeaPad Z710, and I have i7 with 8 GB RAMs in, and it works perfectly fine. So I put a high resolution. By the way, this resolution, for those of you who want to start a YouTube videos, this resolution in the videos is as well as 180p HD. So I put pixels almost always, and it will tell you what the image size in the start. So the image size of this blank white color is 5 megapixels on 21 or something like that. So in the start, when you will open the Photoshop, the layers will be something over here. I'm not remember how it was. Maybe we didn't. No. The layers will be right over here, if I'm not mistaken. But I moved it right over here. It's more easier to use the layers when they're right over there, and you can change the tools options in the sizes if you want to. So I put the styles for texts and swatches and all the main stuff I need over here, and the layers were right over there. So the main stuff we're going to learn is the basic of Photoshop. So this place called the layers panel. You can add with Control Shift and any layer you like and name it as you want. And if you're using Mac, if I'm not mistaken, it's Command Control or Shift N as well, something like that. If you want to hide the layer, you can just click on the eye, but you will see no changes. But by the way, you can choose any tool because the layer is hidden. But when you will open it again and you will just color something, you can just hide them as well. Just to delete it with delete. If you will press on Control Z, the layer will come back. It's like in the history tools, you're like using the history tool right over here, but with the commands. For Control Z, you're coming back. For Control Alt Z, you can go a few steps back, and with Control Z, you will come back for the first step. And it will show you always what was, when you opened the file, it will show you what was the first stuff you made. Until you added all the other stuff. If I'm not mistaken, with Control K you can see how much layers you can open in the history. Performance here. History stats. You can add many more until 1000. I use 100. And for if you want that the Photoshop will perform much more better, you can add RAM for the Photoshop. Right over here. I like to use 900. I take almost half of the RAM for the Photoshop when I use it, so it is not going to take always the 4 gigas RAM. It will take it only when Photoshop is opened, and yes. So that's the main of it. You can change the color picker right over here. For those of you who like Windows color picker, or I don't know, that's the main color picker of Adobe. But if you would like to change it, you just get out Control K and just choosing the Windows. And as you see, it looks much more worser because it's the basic colors, but Photoshop gives you all the colors. I will put it back, and if you want to reset all your stuff, you just click the reset button. Yes, so right over here, in this channel or whatever you would like to call it, you can play with the opacity and the feel of the shapes and stuff. So for example, if I will delete this, I will go to the shape tool and I will create a shape, a triangle. I can play with the feel and a little bit with opacity. Well, manually the fill is what you have inside the shape. So if I will add, I don't know, a green stroke, that you can see it. I will make it a little bit bigger. As you can see, the opacity plays with all of the layer, but the fill is going to just delete the fill of the shape. The stroke is like another shape but not connected to the shape in the fill, but opacity will work on all the shape or the layer. If you want to block it, your main layer, when you start a new program in Photoshop, it will be blocked. but if you will click on the block button, it will be unlocked. So I will put it back, and if you want to exit, of course, it's right over in the exit button. So yes. So now let's move to the move tool. The move tool, you can't move stuff that are blocked like that. It will tell you could not use the move tool because the layer is blocked. But if you will unlock it, you can move whatever you want. But I won't do it right now because it's no. Oh, it actually moved it. Okay, so I will just Control Z twice, and I will block it. If you want to move the tools, you can do it right away here. And you can play with the channels, but I will tell you about that later. So now let's talk about fonts. Fonts is basically styles of the text, or whatever you would like to call it. So for example, if I write stuff, for example, like that, I will change the color to red. As you can see, it's basically one style called Eurofont Slide, but the main Photoshop style or font is MyRed Pro. If you would like to add many fonts like I do, it's more than 300 or something like that. By the way, the Japanese and all the main languages you have, it's in the basic Photoshop. It will automatically be in the Photoshop, as well as some other fonts. You can click V or to accept this, or just click enter. So if I will just go like that and click enter, no, the other enter, yes. In the keyboard you have two enters. You have with a shape of to the left, or if I'm not mistaken, you need to click the other enter that it's actually written enter with a small keyboard with numbers and plus, minus, and stuff like that in the numlock, if you know what I mean. You can play with the heat and stuff like that, or you just can do it right over here. It's the same. You can put it bold, italic, and regular basic font, and make it play with the sizes. And let's come back to the fonts. You can download many fonts in the font. It's a really big website, a website for fonts. And let's enter. Yes, so it will give you many fonts in many different stuff. For example, Fire Ice and stuff like that, or the basics. The basic font is a basic font. If you will go to Sysfy, you see the difference between the basic and the Sysfy. It's just other styles, but the basic is the basic English. Just with the small differences in the shape or stuff like that. For those of you who want to use Photoshop for commercial works, of course you need to free personal use and 100%, and then it will give you only the stuff you can use for commercial use and stuff like that. No, not that. It's for personal use. So for example, as well, you need to read in the description if the font is you can use it like for commercial use and stuff, and you can just download it and it will put it right over here in a zip file. I will just extract it right now real quick, and there you have it. You're just going to here, you see, no, it's in Japanese. You need to read all the stuff, if the license can give you here. This is a free word typeface. This means that you can use it on your commercial or non-commercial works for free. So you can use this font, the Bibes, I call it, for everything you want in your works. You just install it. I already have the Bibes, but it will just close it. You will need to close it like that. And then you're coming back to Photoshop and you want just to find it. So you write Bibes and here you have it. So that's the main of it. For those of you who will see pixelated text, I'm not sure that the option right over here of sharp, crisp, and something like that. You need to just click on the sharp one, and it will make it a really sharp text. You couldn't see pixels, only if you will come really close. So let's try for example, the crisp. Enter. You see the pixelated stuff from far away. If you have a good eye, and it's working. The strum is working as well. But here, if you put on a none, you can see the pixelated stuff. So I will recommend you to use the sharp one. You can replace it and put it whatever you want. If you will control A, it will give you the place you can place it. In the middle, in the sides, and in the north of the page, and in the south. I won't recommend you to use text like that if you just click on the left button in your mouse and drag it, because you can try it many texts as you want. For example, if I will write just stuff, you see you can't see the other text I wrote. You just need to make it bigger, and it's less unfriendly. Here you can add whatever you want, however you want, how much you want, and be crazy with that. And if you want to play with the free place between the lines, you can just go to character and just use the lines. For example, if I will click on 20, you see the difference with the size of the lines. Yes, so with eraser you can delete stuff, but not if they're text or shapes. You need to first of all rasterize it, and then you could like delete it. You have as well the opacity and the flow in the razor. So as you can see, if I'm trying to delete it, to raise it, it's asking me if you would like to rasterize text. Click OK or no, but if you will do it and you will delete it like that, and you will make it, the problem with the rasterize is that it's not saving the symmetric stuff of the text. You will see it's pixelated and unclear. You see the pixels right over here. But if I will undelete it and keep it as a text, it will always be symmetric and sharp. Always. With the control 0, you can go, if you go back or front, you can just click control 0 and go to the main picture, to the what do you really see in the picture. You can resize it with control T, for example. Control T, and it gives you the main stuff. You can just drag it. If you will drag it with unshift, it will just destroy the text. But if you will shift it and keep on shifting, you see it's like a shape. It saves about save the text from being pixelated or with unsized text. So that's basically it. So if you just so you know what, let's continue. With a pen tool, if you will see a small triangle right over here, if and you will right click on the mouse, you will see options you have in the pen tool, um, color tool or brush tool, how do you call it? So the basically brush is um, just for painted stuff. Whatever you want, and if you will download, you will have a basic brushes you have right over on the option button. You can add basics and stuff like that, or you can just download it and just drag the brush you download, the file, and just drag it right over here and just place it right over here, or just load new brushes from your computer, for example, waves. And it added the waves really in the end of all of the brushes. And I have a lot of brushes, so it's kind of problematic. Here, waves, as you can see, new brushes and stuff. You can play with the opacity as well, right over here. You see it's changing the color, and you can change the color. You always can have two colors. If you will click on D, it will reset you for the black and for the white color, the basic colors you have. You can just play with the colors. In the swatches, you have many colors, many different types of green and blue and yellow and all the colors you want, and just play with it. So yes, that's basically the brush tool. Now the magic tool. Let's move to the magic wand. It will select all the stuff that are with the same shapes with the same color. As you can see, it's not always takes the same color. Right over here it's white and the main picture is blue, so it's not always working. But if I will move to a no, I can't. It's you can, as well as you, if you want to, if you would like to use the magic wand, you need only on unshaped or untextured rasterized file layers. Sorry, just on rasterized layers. So if I will create a new layer, Control Shift N, you don't always have to call a given a for a layer, but it's much more friendly. It's much more easier to use Wanjara when you give them names. So if I will use the magic tool, you see it's taking only only the color you picked up. Sorry, and with the shift tool you can add colors, add shapes, and with the alt you can to delete the shapes. So you can, for example, delete it, or play with opacity, or you can just select the color range and it will take only the color you picked. The differences between the magic tool and the color range. The magic tool take all the if you picked up the color, it take all the differences with the shape of the color. For example, it will take always the gray over here, and it will take, how do you call it? Yeah, a very unsharp gray. And it will take the sharp gray as well, and a little bit of the white. because it's a color that you probably can see, the human eye can see, but he sees that it's not really white. So for example, white is FFF, but if I will click right over here, you see it's FDFD, a really it's kind of a whitey gray, something like that, but it still picks it up. And the color range will take only the really sharp gray, the real gray. Uh, it won't take a gray with a little bit white. It will take specifically the color you chose. For if I will control the shape that we create right now, and I will select this one. So it will take only the color, only one color. And if you want, for example, just add colors, you can just go around here and stuff like that, or just like that. No, that's not the thing that I meant. For example, like this, and it will take almost all the shape. And you have something like the magic tool, but here you can you're the rule, you're like the CEO. You tell him what to do. Like that, you just click on the left side of the mouse and you tell him what to do. He can choose with himself. You tell him what to do. So you have lasso tool, so it's the same, but with different shapes. So if you here you could pick up only lines. In the lasso tool, you can do whatever you want, like that, and you can use online stuff. With a magnetic tool, it will magnet the color you want. So as you can see, I'm not clicking on anything. It's kind of have a brain. He makes the decisions for you, and it will make the basic decisions without your choice. So you don't have to click, you just need to drag it, drag. And when you want to finish, you just left click on the mouse twice. Sorry. So with the raise tool, you can just raise stuff. You can play with the size right over here. And raise, and you have two types of razors. You have the razor that are totally hardness. It takes pixel. It's more softer. But if you have 100 hardness, it will delete all pixels and make it white. So as you can see, you can see the difference between here and here. And you as well as have the magic razor tool that deletes the specific color and the background. So I will tell you about the background in another episode, but let's move on. Let's come back to shapes. You have many shapes, the basic shapes right over here, and you can custom shape, go to custom shape, and you have many shapes as you want right over here. You just can select it and make another shape. It's right over here, and basically we'll have you will have 0 shapes, but if you will add here, you can download these shapes. It's the manually one that Photoshop gives you, but they don't take the risk that you will use them, so they just hide it right over here. So you can just, instead of going 1-1, you can just replace all of them. Or if you want something specifically, you can append and it will add it. So I will use the all, and I will say okay. So Now we'll go to window. You can add many windows as you want. So for example, if I will use the history tool, is already replaced right over here. But if you will take something that is unselected, for example, brush presence. Now brush presence. Okay, my Photoshop has gone, he's drunk or something because it says that the history is not selected, but it's selected. So clone source, for example, you can add windows and stuff and just close it when you don't need them. With the styles, you can play with the style of the text. Let's delete those. You can just play with the styles and do whatever you want, and you can build an own style right on the FX. You choose. Let's go back and choose back. So you go, for example, stroke, and it will add a stroke, as you can see, or drop shadow and other glow, and stuff like that, and many other stuff. So you can basically build any styles you want, and when you want to save it or something, for example, let's take color, and I will take a style and add a stain and an inner glow. And if you want to add a style and save it, you need just to go right over here where it says creating a style and save it and name it. And when you want to trash it, so just go and trash it. If you will, but if you have done it, you have to exit Photoshop right from here. You can just go, for those of you who don't want to close the Photoshop in a long way, and go to the task manager and leave from there. You need to exit Photoshop with Control Q. Yes. So right over here you can change the colors to two colors, and it will change your int right over here. I will just use the untitled. And for those of you who want symmetrics, to make symmetric stuff, you can Control R, and it will add you the centimeters of the picture. You can just click on it and drag. As you can see, if you will click on the shape, it will automatically put you the shape sizes, and you can just automatically add it like that. If you want to add other stuff, for example, smart guides, you will just click and for example, wait, we'll just click on it. It will, if you have another shape, you need two shapes for that. You see, it's adding you the small line, the small pink line, and it says here, you see, it's in right now they're in the same line. You see, maybe pixel less or two, but they're in the same line. As well, if you will do it like that, or you will come back from the back, from here, from the sides. Or if you will place it Control A in the middle, and you forgot to Control A and middle it, you can just Shift and drag and drag and drag, and it will tell you here that's the middle of the picture. Or you can just shift it and move it whatever you want in the same lines of the shape. Yes. So that's basically, and as well over here you can, it's like the magic tool and the, how do you call it, polygonal lasso tool, but it's the same but in shapes, created shapes right like over here. And if you want just, for example, to move the picture like that, let's go back. You can't move the picture if you selected something. You need to Control D, and right over there you can move it like that, or like that, or I don't know, Control 0. And if you want to rotate it with Shift, you have to do it with Shift, that it will be symmetric. Like that. You can move it like that. Shift, Shift, Shift. Come right over here and shift it, and shift it, and stuff like that. If it will make your work much easier. You can as well pick up colors in the picker tool. Right over here, and it will tell you the color green, black, white. Yes, so it's going to be like that. And if you want to rasterize the picture to change the sizes, you can just rasterize, click OK, and it will rasterize. And Control Z. With the gradient tool, you can put gradients and paint bucket, and like in the normal paint in Windows, just paint, put a color, green screen, or take gradients. Place right over here. You can download as well many gradients as you want. Just drag it like that and do stuff like that. Or pick another gradient and do that. As you can see, they're very beautiful. And yes, so that's the basic of Photoshop. It's not really hard to understand, and you have many shortcuts. You just need to learn them, and if you will use Photoshop many years or months or weeks, and every day will work 1 or 2 or I don't know 8 hours, you will remember all of it, because I remember almost all of the shortcuts that are being used right now in Photoshop. So yes, I will upload a new episode in the next week or in the end of the week of this week. I hope you enjoyed, and yes, I was Zero Lev. For any questions, you can ask me in the comments. If you like it, like, dislike, and see you in the next episode. Bye.